All right, everybody, welcome to the first day of our surf shop project. This page here is just a way to brainstorm some names for our surf shop. For instance, I'm just thinking some of the ones that I've experienced. One of the ones in Cape May that I was actually sponsored by at one point was called Summer Sun Surf Shop. I've seen ones named Suncatcher. We obviously knew Brave New World. Another one I've seen is the Boarding House. And then you could say I don't know. You could come up with anything. I've seen Whalebone is another one that I've seen in Hatteras. All right, but you want to make it, exclusive to yours and make it unique because eventually we'll be presenting this to the class. All right, and then the next thing we have is a way to kind of just keep tabs or stay organized with parts 1 and 2. So it says, let's open a surf shop. You finally decided to go for it and move to the beach and open your own surf shop. Carefully plan out your surf shop before the grand opening. You want everything to be perfect when it opens. Keep this page close so that you can keep track of your startup costs in part 1 and 2 of your project. So I know it seems a little out of order, but we're going to keep this at the beginning so it's easy to find. But you're going to actually be able to go back and fill these things in to keep track as we go through today and tomorrow's activities. All right, then we have our next 2 pages. So the first one we see is planning our spaces. So this is us actually getting into the activity. So let's say that you went with board house or boarding house. Okay, you're going to have something different. Everyone will have the same monthly cost for rent, which is $1,652. And everyone's going to have the total square units of the shop. So if you count these, we have 11, another 11, so that's 22. It's going to be the same thing here. So it's a 22 by 22, which ends up giving us, let me just check here, but I believe it's 484. All right, so everyone's going to have that unit squared. Okay. Now, for the next part, it says, label the 4 quadrants of your surf shop. So we know that this is quadrant 1, this is quadrant 2, this is quadrant 3, and this is quadrant 4. So we're going to label the 4 quadrants, which we did. After you add all the necessary furniture, make the following calculations. So this is something else we're going to come back to. So within these quadrants, our surf shop space, we're going to have some types of furniture. And then what we'll do is we'll come back and put the total square units of furniture in the shop and percentage of shop space with furniture. All right, so meaning that we're going to have to take whatever this number is going to be, all right, and we're going to subtract it from our 484, all right, because that's our total spot. So this is kind of like this here is what like space you'll have to walk around with, so you don't want to have it too cluttered. All right, so once again, looking at that coordinate plane that we saw, the required furniture and labels. So the space for walkways and customers to stand in line. So you don't want to have someone like, you want to have some space so that you can have a nice line as people are ready to check out with their items. You need at least 1 checkout counter. You could have 2, but you need at least 1. Enough surfboard displays for at least 20 boards. So you got to have something so that you can hold 20 boards, like a surf rack of some sort, which we'll get to. At least 2 accessory racks. This could be something for clothing. You could have, what else do we have? Sunglass rack, surf wax, sunscreen shelves, leashes, all those types of things. And then an entrance and exit doors. All right, you need 1 of each. All right, and then here are some of the things that you need in terms of what you need to put into your shop. So it says purchase furniture following the requirements under the required furniture and labels. So that was from our coordinate plane. As you purchase furniture, draw each piece on your grid paper. You may choose where you put each item in your shop. Once you're completely finished adding furniture, fill in the information page with the quadrant number, point coordinates, and cost for each item, which we'll see in a bit. All right, so here's the thing. We have a large checkout counter, and we have a small one. All right, you can pick 1, you can pick 2. You can pick 2 large, 2 small, 1 large, whatever you want. And then we have our surfboard display. All right, this one holds 8. This one holds 4, but remember we need enough to hold 20. All right, so it's 8 units by 3 units by 5 units, okay? Length times width times the height. So we really need this, the 8x4, the 6x4, the 8x3, the 5x3, all right? This will be the height when we actually make a 3D model of this. So when we go back to plot this, so if you have this one that's 8x4, this large counter, and this, let's say we're gonna pick this, and this is 8x3. Well, when we go back, all right, when we go back to draw this on our coordinate plane, so we have one that was 8x3. So that means you go over 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so that was the surf rack. All right, that's how you would draw it in. We actually have some cutouts that you'll be able to do to make it easier. All right, and then you have something else that I think was 8x4. So you go over 4, and you're going to go down 8. And then where you place this in the shop is completely up to you. Okay, and this was like the counter or something like that. All right, and then on the next page is an example. All right, so these are in color. Ours probably will be in black and gray. So you have your checkout counter. So if you look, you're going to put this right on here, and notice that the checkout counter right here is 8x4, just like we said. We go 4, this is 8, and then you're just putting this on here on top to label it. And then over here we have a medium display. All right, that is that's a 5x3. All right, and then we have the sunglass rack. All right, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's an 8x3 right here. All right, we have wax bins. Now, do you have to use every single one of these? No. All right, but this is going to help you when we get to day 5, when we actually have to do a 3D model, which is going to look really cool. All right, and then you have your entrance, all right, and then an exit. I would say that you don't use one for the other, or both. Like you could even put them next to each other. Okay. All right, and then the last thing that we'll have for day 1 is our furniture item cost. So we're not going to do this to last because you may want the bare minimum for the requirements. Like you may only want one checkout counter where someone else might want 2. So the coordinates is where we're going to help you. You're going to take the corners of each. All right. So if we go back, so let me erase this for a minute. If we go back, the one that we had before with this, so the coordinates for this checkout would be here, would be these dots right here. It's not letting me do it. So these things right here. So the coordinates would be, we go back 11, so that's negative 11, and up 1, that would be this one right here. And then we would go back 11 and up 9 for this one. All right, so we're going back to our coordinate plane. So on and so on with that one. And yeah, there's 4 coordinates for each one. So you got one here, you know, we got all our coordinates for each one right there. The cost, all right, and then we'll be able to tally. Now you get 2 sheets like this, you may only need 1 if you're going to do the bare minimum. So keep that in mind. I think we're going to be there to help. We actually may need more than 1 day for each activity, unlike we did for our other projects. So keep that in mind, but the more you do at home, the better off you're going to be, because we want to have this done within, at most, 7 days, because we do want to present at one point.